Hi everyone, you're welcome to my professor note. This is Bhupesh Sharma. So here in this video, we're going to talk about the Michel Foucault. And before this, whenever we start something, we have a vision. If we do not have a vision, we cannot achieve what we want to. Because there is a difference between dream and vision. Vision have a plan. In dream, you just have the fantasies, right? So my professor note have a vision that I make sure that no student who is preparing for the English literature competitive exam should ever curse themselves for not having the right kind of guidance, the study material, and there is a lack of coaching. No, it should not be there. With the help of me and the Google, single-handedly, we can crack any English literature competitive exam. I have cracked my NET. Here's a scorecard. And now I am here to help you guys in your journey to qualify any English literature competitive exam. But I'm going to share all the strategies with you, right? Just what you should do, what you should not do, all the book list I have shared there. Now there is more coming. But in this video, I'm going to give you a lecture on the Michel Foucault because there is a craving to teach and study. And if you do not have this, it means you are in the wrong business then, right? Because strategies video, that can do anyone. But giving you the right kind of guidance and strategy, that is a completely different thing. I cracked this exam not because I wanted to share strategies with you. I cracked this exam because I wanted to teach, I wanted to read, I wanted to apply and add value to the society. All right. So in this video, we're going to talk about the Michel Foucault. Right? This is the person. Michel Foucault, a French philosopher. Right? He was a professor of history of system of thought. He was a professor in the history of system of thought. That how does thought works? How is knowledge formed? How is knowledge constructed? Right? How that knowledge is organized and how that knowledge is distributed. Right? But before this, and there are a few things you surely know about him, that he was a central figure in the postmodernism, right? He has a huge impact in the field of postmodernism. Postmodernism says that everything is open for interpretation. Nothing has a fixed meaning, right? And this is what he has supported with his arguments. Well, now, he was very much in the business of the knowledge archaeology, right? As I told you that how is knowledge constructed, how it is organized and how it is distributed. Knowledge and power and or knowledge or power, like vice versa. It works in both the ways. Knowledge and power. This is one of the terms, and this is the whole structure. This is the whole foundation of the Michel Foucault's argument, right? He said that the knowledge is constructed, organized and distributed in a form of speech, right? Writing and language, which is known as a discourse, one of his main terms which he has coined. So now what is a discourse? Discourse is a conversation around a certain topic and object which is created through that discourse. This is a very interesting term here, right? And how it works, this is what we're going to find out here. So discourse, who can have a discourse? A person, an authority, right? And in every single field, there is a different kind of discourse, right? There is a different kind of conversation we have. For example, in the court, right? In the court of law, In the court of law, when we have a conversation, your emotions does not matter. The judge is not going to forgive you just because you are crying when you were asked that, did you commit this crime? That, are you the murderer? Are you the murderer? You will be asked these questions and you just start crying. No, you will not be forgiven just because you are crying. It takes logical argument. It takes proof, right? It does not, there is no need of emotions, because in the conversation of law, your argument needs to be logical. You have to show proof, only then it will be accepted. So this is how the conversation, this is how the discourse in the court of law. For example, the science does not believe in a conversation when we say that I believe that the universe is flat, that the universe is in the oval shape. It needs demonstrable proof. You have to show it, right? So everywhere we have a different kind of discourse. And how does it dominate us? How does discourse dominate us? How does discourse dominate us? I want you to be with me. At the end of this video, you're going to take away a lot of knowledge, which really going to add some value to your preparation and to you as a human as well. And that is my guarantee. And this is what I want to do in every single video of mine. I want you to be something different, right? Okay. So knowledge and power is the term that we are discussing here, and how it works. The person who have the knowledge, right? This is how the discourse is. This is how the discourse is. This is how the discourse is, right? The discourse, a conversation. Who can have the conversation? The person who is having the knowledge, the authority. The authority. This authority creates the object. Always, they creates an object. वो एक ऐसी चीज बना देते हैं जो उससे पहले कभी exist नहीं करती. Just because they are the authoritarian people and they have a knowledge about a certain topic. For example, the religion. Who have the knowledge about religion? The priest, right? The priest is the authority and he is having a discourse on religion. And they propound an object like a sinner. Now, who is a sinner? Who take drugs, who have sexual thoughts in their mind. Go on the mount. Go on the mountain. James Baldwin. This is one of the novels he has written. And then the John, who is going to become the priest, he thinks of himself as a sinner because he is having these sexual thoughts, homosexual thoughts. He finds himself attractive towards a male in the church, and this is not acceptable. And he is a sinner, right? In Christianity, such a person is known as a sinner. So a person is just doing the things which is his internal nature. He's going with that. But he is called a sinner here. Who says that sinner? The priest says that he is a sinner, right? And now the sinner, to be pure, to purify himself, he has to undergo a corrective mechanism. Corrective mechanism he has to go through. He has to go through a corrective mechanism. And when he comes out of it, he will be purified. And now you just see it. He will be purified. What is the corrective mechanism? It is the penitence, the punishment, right? It is the rituals. It is the rituals. They have to follow the rituals and then they will be purified. Now there is a priest. He has a knowledge about something and now he has a power because he is manipulating you. He is implementing that power through the discourse, through the conversation. In a science, a physicist, they have knowledge about your body. They will tell you that how to sleep, how to wake up, what to eat, what to not. So through that knowledge, they are controlling you. They having control over you, right? And that's how the whole system works. A person having knowledge, for example, I have a knowledge about the NET examination. Now I am telling you that what you should do, that how you should be reading, how you should study, how you should approach this work. So I have a knowledge. Now I am implementing. This is the power which I'm implementing through this discourse of my knowledge about something. Now I am controlling you now with my knowledge. You are doing what I am saying. Exactly, that's how it happens in the society. All right. So now the knowledge and the power concept is clear for you. The concept of the discourse is clear for you. These are the very much important concept which he has propounded, and these concepts are propounded in his work called the Discipline and Punish. It is called the Birth of the Prison, right? Published in the 1975. All right. Now let's talk about the other work of him. This is very much just the starting of it. Now let's talk very quickly about his other work, which is the Madness and Civilization. Please let me know in the comment section that whatever I am teaching, I mean, do you get this? Because when I teach, I find that I am making every single concept clear for you, right? And while I was doing preparation, it was so huge because you have to read theory, criticism, your history of English literature. There is a lot to cover. And I thought to create a crash course study material, which I have created. And you can get access to it, right? I have given my contact numbers below in the description box. And there you can get access to this study material, right? You can just contact me there. It will cost you just around 1,699. Right, this is the cost, affordable price for everyone, that everyone can avail it. Whether you are preparing for your MA entrance, your BA English entrance, your SET, NET, GATE, your TGT, PGT, just for everything we have this crash course study material available. All right. So now the second one. This is the work which I have to make clear for you. So it was published in the 1961, this Madness and Civilization, and it has a title called Archaeology in a History of. I just forgot this subtitle of it. Please check it out on Google. So because these subtitles are very important, because mugging up is not my thing, right? I can understand concept, I can make them clear, but filling the data unnecessary. This is necessary. I wouldn't say this is unnecessary, but mugging up is something which doesn't suit my mind. But well, we have to do it. Madness and Civilization. Here he talk about that how there came a shift. How there came a shift in the perception of society towards the insane people. Right? Insanity. Right? Insanity. We have insanity, we have insane people, right? In the age of Renaissance, these insane people were seen as someone who possess wisdom, who have a lot of knowledge, right? So people used to have debate with them. They see that his behavior is really awkward. There must be some mystery behind this. So in the age of Renaissance, this is how they were seen. We saw their depiction in the art and literature, somebody who possess really great knowledge of the hidden concepts of the universe, right? And in the classical age, very much in the beginning of the 17th century, we saw there is a great confinement of these people, right? That's what happened. These people were thrown to the margins of the society. And then in the modern era, there was a huge development of the medical institutions in order to treat them medically, to throw them behind the bars in the prison or in the asylum, to treat them, to give them electrical shots. So do you see that how there has came a change in terms of thinking? It's not towards only insane people, but a lot of other things. And that's what he has devoted his life to understand the very fundamental core of things. right? And this is very much what I want to do, and this is very much that this is something that every student of humanities should do. Try to know things to their core, right? In history, there is a podcast that I wanted to watch, given by Kunal Shah on the Knowledge Project. He told that how history should be read. That it should be read to know that how things came into existence, how things came into existence. You know, this is for what we should read history, and this is how it can help us, we young people of this generation. And that's what he discussed in the Madness and Civilization. Well, let's talk about his another work, which is The Birth of the Clinic. Birth of the Clinic. So in The Birth of the Clinic, he talks, it is known as the archaeology of the medical perception. Archaeology of the medical perception. The work was published in 1963. In this work, he talked about how the perception of the doctors towards patients is in this era. That how a patient is being seen. How do we look at the patient? We look at him as a diseased body, a system of organs, right? That you have to cure. There is a medical gaze, a term which he has coined into this work in The Birth of the Clinic. Medical gaze is the term. Medical gaze, where doctor have a gaze that he look at the patient not through emotional eyes as a human, but just as a set of organs, a diseased body that needs to be cured, right? And this is very much the whole concept of The Birth of the Clinic. All right. Now we have the next work here. Which is in 1966. This work is published. The Order of Things. The Order of Things. Archaeology of Human Science, 1966. This work was published in the 1966. So in this work, what he has discussed is that how the human sciences, how the human sciences saw a shift in them, because there was a shift in the knowledge. He talks about here the way of thinking. The way of thinking in the 16th century, or for say 17th century, the way people used to think in the 17th century, in a similar way they used to deal with the things at their time. For example, there is a mindset. What sort of mindset people had in the 17th century? Now, for example, in the Renaissance period, everyone used to believe that we are created by God, and there was a concept of heaven and hell. But when the origin of species, origin of species was published in the 1859 by Charles Darwin, all these things were shut down. They got to know that before becoming humans, we were monkeys, and there is no heaven, there is no hell. That this is how human came into existence. A scientific thought came into existence, and now the way of thinking got changed. And that when that way of thinking got changed, our truths started to change. Now the truth is something else for us. So now there is a very important thing which I again learned from this podcast, which I am telling you, that if we got to know the purpose of life, if we find that what is the meaning of life, you know what is the next question we're going to ask? Why this is the purpose of life, and why this is the meaning of life, then we will be looking for another one. So the whole community like this, everyone is running after that. What is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of life? The moment you get the meaning of life, you will say, why this is the meaning of life? What else? Okay, this is not the meaning of life. Because everyone has their own truth, right? Human sciences. Okay. how there is a shift. He discussed here the three things. Very first is the linguistic, which was first just the general grammar, right, which has become the linguist. Then he talked about the natural history. Write down these things, which became the biology. Then there was the science of wealth, which became the economics, right? And he talked about these three sciences here, and this is a shift we get to see here, right? Everything got well defined, everything came into order. Okay, this is how things get placed. Before that, everything was a mystery, but now everything is a logical argument, right? And that's what he has discussed here in the order of things, the work which got published in the 1966, right? Another work, which is the discipline and the punishment. Discipline and punish the birth of the prison. The work got published in the 1975. Here he took the concept of Jeremy Bentham. I think that's what the name is, but the Bentham is the name, Jeremy Bentham. He's an English philosopher. He has given this concept of panoptic. Panoptic. Pen means all, optic means seeing, so seeing all. He gave this concept of Bentham. He took this concept of Bentham, who said that all the prison cells should open to the central tower. So they are the prisons, like there are the prison cells, they have their door towards the central tower, like we have this, like the rooms. All rooms of these prisons have their doors towards the center tower. So in the tower there is a person who is looking all of them. Now this person inside this tower can see all of them, but these person who are inside the prison cannot see. And that's from where this idea of surveillance came, that everyone are under the eye. And when you are under the eye, you behave in a certain way. You behave in a way the behavior which is allowed in the society, right? This is the way you behave then. You do not go unconscious while behaving. You behave consciously. The behavior which is allowed in the human society, if you want to stay there. If you do not, you will be thrown out in the asylum, because now you are not behaving according to the rules of society. And sometimes I shouldn't say this, but I think this is very much, everyone has some reason behind doing this, because he was a homosexual, the Michel Foucault. So he was very much like against the natural relationship that we have here, that we see in the society. I wouldn't say that is a natural, but the most of the people, right, we have the attraction towards the opposite gender, but he's the one who having the attraction towards the positive, only positive, no positive, negative. He was attracted towards men only. So this is something against the rules in our society, the way it is being formed. So this whole aggression somewhere coming from own personal reasons. I think because you need a reason to go this much deep into defining things to their very much core. Well, this is my perception. This is what I think. So this is where this term of panopticism and panoptic come. This is where this term of surveillance come, right? Being under the eye, or making you behave in a certain way. And if you do not behave, you will be punished. And in this era, he said that we are not tortured the way we were tortured earlier. Now we are tortured in a very different way. We are tortured mentally, right? We have to follow the discipline. We are given some rules. And if we do not follow those rules, we will be what? We will be thrown out in the asylums. We will be thrown in the asylums, in the medical institutions. And we have to follow the discipline. We are controlled mentally. The things are normalized in this way that you do not walk out of it. You have to follow the system. And if you do not follow the system, you will be thrown to the margins of society. And he said here that how this shift, there is a shift we have seen, that earlier people were tortured out there, they were executed in the society out there. But after the 17th or 18th century, what we have found is that people are being tortured or executed inside the bar, right? And no one knows what is exactly happening to them. And this whole work is in the 4 parts, right? And what are these parts? I want you to comment me below in the comment section, because I do not want like somebody who is just teaching here and there is no conversation from the other side. So there should be a conversation from the other side. So please share what are the 4 parts in which this whole work is distributed. Like there are 4 parts, right? This whole work is divided into the 4 parts. So what are those 4 parts? Please share them below in the comment section. There is another last work, and this is the work where he has given most of his term, like the power and knowledge, like the disciplinary society, like the Panopticism and the surveillance, right? And this is where all these terms have came out, right? So yeah, let's talk about his last work. His last work is the History of Sexuality, the work published in the 1981. Here he talked about that how was sex being seen in the earlier ages and how it is being seen in the now ages, because everything is archaeology. He's going into the history of sexuality. What was sexuality then? What is sexuality now? He talks about here the gender issues, right? Like the women, for example, the women. So women is not someone who has to wear the nail polish, who has to wear the frock, or who has to keep the long hairs. Like this is our own tendency. These are our own interest who are doing these things. Like like there is only a difference of 1 or 2 organs in our body, right? But whatever we are wearing, high heels or something, that was not there. These are the developed taste, to look more beautiful or ferocious, or a lot of things are marvelous, beautiful, whatever you want to look like. So you add these fashionable things to your attire. Okay, right? And here he said that what was sex earlier? It was a private thing. People used to enjoy it, but now it has become a commodity. Even though there was always a need for people, like they are seeking, but in the modern age, what we have seen, the world of perversion, that people are good in having an external affair even after getting married to fulfill their physical desires. It's okay to have a relationship with anyone else, even though you are married, but still you're having a relationship with anyone else just to fulfill your physical needs. So from there to this time, there is a huge change has become, even though that things were there like that, but now in this age, these things has become so much normal, right? And that's what he has said here. And another thing is that he talked about sex is he has given some of the terms here. For example, the biopower, right? So biopower means the power over your biology, the power over your body.